Now, Moazzam Begg became famous when he was locked up by the Americans in Guantanamo more than 10 years ago. But this year, he spent months in jail on terror charges after returning from Syria. The case against him suddenly collapsed on Wednesday after MI5 handed over a series of documents. They apparently back up Mr. Begg's claims that MI5 knew about his trip to Syria. And he insists the security services promised he would not be prevented from going. Our Home Affairs correspondent Darshna Soni has spoken exclusively to Moazzam Begg, and she joins us now from Birmingham. Darshna.
Did MI5 withhold vital information from the police and prosecutors about what they knew about Moazzam Begg's activities in Syria? Sources here tonight, Krishnan, say the West Midlands force and prosecutors are furious about the late disclosure. And they say had they known about MI5's dealings with the former Guantanamo detainee before he was arrested, then he may never have been charged. The case against Moazzam Begg was dramatically abandoned days before his trial began, prompting questions for the police, prosecutors and the security services.
I'm very pleased to be home, very relieved to be home. I personally believed and was almost spoiling for a fight in court because I believed that I had on my side the moral argument, the political argument and the legal argument, and that had I faced them in court, they would have been destroyed.
In 2011, Mr. Begg, a former Guantanamo detainee, was researching allegations of British rendition operations. He made several trips to Syria after the outbreak of the civil war there. But a year after returning to the UK, he was arrested and accused of attending a jihadi camp. And yet Mr. Begg has revealed MI5 knew about his trip before he went.
My relationship with MI5 was to this level where they'd asked me if I'd be willing to speak to them about my previous visit to Syria. And I said that this is not something that I think is ethical if I'd speak to you, because I'm going there to investigate you and what you've been up to and your relationship with the Assad regime. So eventually we did meet with their lawyers present and mine. And at the end of that meeting, it was very clear when I said to them that if I'm prevented from going to Turkey and Syria, then I would have can assume safely that it's from them that the prevention has happened. And they said they will find no hindrance from our side.
So in a way, they gave you their blessing?
Well, they certainly gave me the green light in the sense that they didn't say there was anything wrong with it. And there were lawyers present. The crucial part is that lawyers were present on both sides.
You've admitted you stayed with fighters. Did you fight yourself or train anybody else to fight?
No, I'm neither a fighter nor a trainer, but I helped and assisted those who were being massacred, who were being tortured, who were being killed by barrel bombs.
But did they know who you would be associating with, the fact that you would be staying with training camps?
Well, what was clear is that Syria at that time was at war. So whoever would go to Syria would be connected to fighters in one way or another, because fighters are everywhere. And then the people that I was meeting were prisoners who actually were leaders of various rebel groups.
Mr. Begg and his supporters believe that had he been allowed to take the witness stand at his trial, the government would have been forced to confront uncomfortable questions about what constitutes terrorism and the role of British men who have gone to fight Assad's regime.
Look, at the time, we have to remember that there was a wide coalition which went right from the Free Syrian Army to all the other groups that existed. The Islamic Front, for example, that contains within it numerous organizations. And the prescriptions simply didn't exist at that time. Even the al-Nusra Front, when I was there, didn't exist. ISIS as an organization didn't exist.
This entire narrative that somehow everyone who's going out there is either going to be joining up with Jabhat al-Nusra or with ISIS is completely absurd, because you have people going out there for so many different reasons. So the narrative actually has to start to reflect the fact that people are going out there for multiple reasons, and not all of them, and most of them, have no intention to be a threat to the UK whatsoever.
What about people who say that you have admitted staying with fighters, in previous conflicts you've gone to places like Bosnia or Afghanistan? Some people might say to you, you pose a threat to this country.
Well, look, I've just been imprisoned for 7 months. I've been interrogated, I've been questioned, I've had the entire weight of the British establishment, which includes all of its arms, from the prison service to the police service to the intelligence services to the Home Office. And prior to that, I was imprisoned in Braga and Guantanamo. I was interrogated by the CIA, by the FBI, by the MI5, by military intelligence. I'm probably one of the most scrutinized people in the world.
We did port Moazzam Begg's claims to the Home Office but didn't receive a response. Tonight he told us that he regards himself as a political prisoner and that he is considering whether to take action against the security services and the government, because although he was released without charge on Wednesday from Belmarsh prison, his bank accounts remain frozen and he and his family have not been able to access their funds over the last few months, an order which still remains in place tonight.
Darshna Soni in Birmingham.